everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of TECHSPIRANTS 2.0. I am your host, Vaishnavi Ramkumar, the co-chairperson and chief editor of CSI UMIT, along with my co-host Shreya Lanka, the technical and publicity head of CSI UMIT. Whether you're a devoted fan or tuning in for the first time, buckle up for an inspiring journey through the pursuit of master's degree abroad.
Hi.
Hello, sir.
So,
Hi.
today joining us is Suryakiran Iyer, who holds a master's degree in computer science from the Texas A&M University, USA. Having previously contributed to Hitachi and currently serving as a software engineer in Amazon, Suryakiran brings a wealth of experience and expertise to our discussion.
So, without further ado, let's dive into this illuminating episode of TECHSPIRANTS 2.0. So, let's start with the first question. Since you pursued a master's degree, can you share a bit about the journey, like the exams that you gave, application process, and the program you chose?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you for inviting. Could you please repeat the first question?
Sure. So, since you pursued a master's degree, can you share a bit about your journey, like the exams that you gave, application process, and the program you chose?
Yeah. So the first exam that I had given for pursuing a master's degree was GRE, and uh, after that, I guess it was TOEFL for the English requirement that most of the universities have. But apart from that, you pretty much don't have to give a lot of exams. You also have an option to give IELTS, uh, as some US universities require that. But if you are probably going to go for other countries such as Australia or Germany, um, or other European universities, then IELTS might be more helpful for that. Uh, but it would also be helpful if you actually look at Yocket to see what the requirement for these scores are for certain universities, as every university has a cutoff that they would have for the program requirement. For the university that I had chosen, the general requirement was that the average GRE score that students usually have is above 310 in GRE. So that's probably it, I guess, with regards to the exams.
Okay, so as you know, many students aspire to pursue a master's degree abroad, but the question of finance becomes crucial. So, could you please share your experience with student loans and whether you believe it is worth it?
Uh, yeah, I guess uh, with masters, I think this sort of this delusion that finding a job is much easier after you finish your masters. That's probably not true. You there's there's no requirement that you need a master's to find a job. uh, in the US, it's basically a requirement that uh, to enter the country you need to be either on a visa, and the most easiest one is probably an F1 visa, which would allow you to study in the US. But you could also try looking for on-site opportunities from India if you're working already in a company on L1, and various other opportunities that might arrive within the company that you work in India. So it's not really a necessity that you need to have a master's degree to be able to work in abroad. Uh, and with regards to studying, for people who are generally interested in studying further, uh, I would say that a master's degree would be a great experience if you really love studying computer science or any other degree for that sort. Uh, the experience itself is kind of like a really nice one, that where you have a lot of courses that you wouldn't have studied previously, and the peers that you sort of have in the US university would all be a great exposure for you. They generally are coming from different parts of India and various other countries as well. So you would definitely find that everyone is having a certain knowledge or a certain specific set of skills that they have, and you could basically leverage all that into your projects and you know uh, the learning as well. And with regards to financing, I guess you could go with different loan providers within India. I guess you can get it through HDFC Credila and other educational loans. But I did go with Prodigy Finance when I went for my master's. The reason was that you could independently, take a loan, an educational loan, without any collateral. And that was sort of helpful because you do not want to depend on someone or your parents itself for an educational loan. And it sort of helps with being independent in the US. It's the first step in doing a master's. So yeah, that's with regards to the finance.
Well, that's very informative, sir. So, moving on to the next question. In your opinion, how important is a master's degree in our industry? Like, have you noticed any significant advantages for those with a master's versus those without?
Um, yeah, this question is sort of interesting because I think that a master's degree doesn't really add any value to a person's degree itself. Like if you only think that a master's degree is like a checklist, a checkpoint, then I would say it really won't add any value. But if you really want to experience a master's program, and if you really want to learn something new, that would help you in that aspect. But with regards to finding a job or working in a company, a master's degree would basically not add much value except to your knowledge and your skill set. Uh, but there's this one thing that you would find a lot of peers who you would continue to work with in the future. So they would be joining different companies, and you could basically use that as something that you can rely on in the future, where all these peers would basically be in your network. That would definitely help you in the future with regards to finding a job or starting a company. That sort of thing is probably helpful with masters.
Okay, so can you share your experience with peer pressure abroad compared to what you might have experienced in India? And how is it different or similar?
Yeah, I think with regards to peers, I guess almost all the peers that I had met at A&M uh, they were very knowledgeable with regards to uh, you know the uh, the foundations of computer science and other subjects that we normally study. But apart from that, I think that you would find uh, people who are very skilled in certain aspects. Like some of them are really good at systems, and some of them are really good at AI, machine learning. So you'd find a lot of people who are very good at one thing, and who you can rely on for your projects and assignments as well. So I guess with regards to the comparison between India and US, the peer pressure is not that much. It's all individual, I guess. all your grades are basically based on your own individual work, except the projects that you would be working together. But apart from that, the peer pressure is pretty normal, I guess, as you would see it in India. I think the competition level that you have in India is not the same in the US. In the US, it's a little more relaxed, and you kind of do your own thing. But in India, it's kind of the opposite, where you compare your skills and your evaluation of subjects. But when you look at your assignments and projects in the US, when you do your masters, especially, uh, it's kind of like an individual's work mostly. So you don't have much to compare with the class itself. So, and all your grades are basically in between, A, B, C, D. So it's not much pressure, at least as far as I see it.
So moving
Uh,
on, yeah.
yeah,
So can you share your thoughts on the overall living conditions? Like what has been your experience so far?
yeah. I guess the living conditions were pretty good. As I went to the US, and this is based on this is based on city to city, I guess. But the city that I went to was basically a college town, and you would find only students living there. And the living conditions were pretty good. You have very affordable housing, and you have like really great restaurants nearby to the university. Uh, so you could probably once you find a part-time job, you can kind of explore the city as well. But it really depends from city to city and university to university, at least. But overall, I would say it's the living would be great, at least in the US, when you compare it to other countries.
Okay, so is there anything you wish you had known before starting your master's program? And what advice would you give to someone considering pursuing it?
Um, I guess something that I hadn't known before starting my master's was whether I wanted to do a thesis or pursue a PhD later. Um, and it was a difficult decision to make because I didn't know what a thesis would look like, or how I would be doing research. But I did take the thesis option initially once. Um Initially when I was in India, and then when I moved to the US, once I started studying, and when I looked at the effort required for completing the thesis option, I did realize that I was not very interested in doing a thesis, and that's something that I didn't expect when I was in India. And after moving to the US, after kind of starting the coursework, I guess that's something that I didn't expect, that I would have to change my decision in terms of doing a thesis. But overall, I guess the expectation that I had based on when I was in India about a master's degree would it all went right as I expected. But I guess the thesis option is something that was a little bit different. And I guess most of the students do have this question of whether they want to do research and going for a PhD rather than. I guess that I would only suggest one thing for people would be that if you plan to do research, I would say go for a PhD rather than a master's degree. um, that that would probably help you with skipping the master's part, at least, because PhD would take you like 5 to 6 years on average. But that's the only suggestion that I would give for people who are, really interested in doing computer science research or any other field.
So moving on, as you're working as a software engineer at Amazon in the USA, can you share your experience and what it is like working there?
Yeah. Initially when I joined Amazon, I had no idea what I was going to be working on. I did just the foundations of computer science, such as doing algorithms and machine learning, AI, and deep learning and stuff like that. But I had no idea on what I would be working on when I joined the team. Uh, and It was more like an experience in itself. Like you have a set of skills that you need to learn when you join Amazon, and there's so many internal tools that you need to learn, and it's like they have their own code base, and they have their own infrastructure for moving the code around. So it's something that would take a bit of learning once you join the company, but overall it's more collaborative work, and it's collaboration between teams, and it's collaboration between organizations within Amazon. It's a really huge company, so there's a lot of collaboration, and anytime you have to work, it's basically keeping that in mind, uh, on extensibility and most of that stuff. But I would say the overall part that I really liked about Amazon was the code quality that they were maintaining. Every code change that you push has to be reviewed by certain peers within the team, and that's kind of like really unique. I haven't seen that kind of code quality in other companies that I worked at. So it's and the peers that I talk to also say the same thing, that this really good code quality within Amazon, as it's kind of like rigorous code reviews.
Okay, so in your opinion, is it better to pursue a master's degree in India or in abroad?
Yeah, I think this is an interesting question as well. Um, the reason I would say that doing a master's in abroad would kind of give you a new exposure. It would allow you to meet different peers, at least who come from different countries as well. I guess that kind of changes your perspective of things. It changes the way you work, and it changes the way you approach something. So I would definitely recommend, going abroad rather than India, as being independent. I guess moving abroad makes it easier to be independent rather than doing a master's in India. Uh, Doing a master's in India, there are certain advantages as well. Like you get to stay close to home, and also uh, you could work in companies. Uh, you could work in the same big tech that's based out of India. And sometimes there's also opportunities that come up in abroad for people who do masters here within India. So it's kind of like a question about priority of different people, I guess. But there's pros and cons to both. Uh, uh, you know, master's degrees, I guess, from within India and abroad. But I would definitely recommend, going abroad. You get to explore more.
Well, that brings us to the end of another exciting episode of Tech Experience 2.0. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into the journey of pursuing masters abroad. We would like to extend our gratitude towards our guest, Mr. Suryakiran Iyer, for enlightening us with such valuable insights. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
we also like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to the audience who stayed till the end of the episode. We hope the insights in this episode proved to be beneficial to you all. So please hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and of course, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this episode. And remember, your feedback is essential in helping us in making more quality videos. And stay tuned for more. Thank you.
Thank you.